Hello people, today's video is about being in the closet, so to speak, with Adderall when you're taking Adderall and you hide it, you don't talk about it, you're maybe ashamed of it or embarrassed, or in some cases, if you think about it, you're afraid that if you tell people you take Adderall, then you're telling them you're stupid because you take it to be smart, or you take it to excel in school, and for reasons like this. So when you tell people that you're taking Adderall, it's like you're coming out as almost a fraud, because Adderall enhances your performance so much that it's like an invisible steroid that you can't, it's not as obvious as physical steroids, although that's up for debate with some people. So, if you have a hunch someone takes Adderall, you may be right, and they're probably likely not open about it. And I don't think it's, it's a different kind of stigma, because I don't know. To tell my story for it, I started taking Adderall when I was 7 years old. I took it because I was getting up in my seat and not calling out without raising my hand. But I had good grades, and I started taking dextroamphetamine when I was 7. So I took it on and off until I was about 23. And just the entire time I was secretive about my use. When I was a kid, I did everything I could for my closest friends to not know I took Adderall. Or when I was brought up, I felt guilty or something. I didn't feel guilty. I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed. And, I didn't know why I was the only one who took it. And, I used to sometimes wish that I could find out that some of my friends actually took Adderall, so I didn't feel like I was the runt of our litter or something like that. And then later on in college, it's more acceptable and sought after, so there's some sharing of it. But still, for me, I just didn't want anyone to know I took it. I excelled in school. I excelled in skateboarding. I excelled in a lot of the things I did on Adderall. So, I was better at school. I was better at art. Now, better. When I say better, I don't mean, because when it comes to art, there isn't really better, but I felt more productive. So, was I cognitively enhanced? I don't know, or was I, smarter? Or was my brain just jump-started to be in a position of high performance with the brain I have? I don't know. But either way, I felt a sort of credit being given to Adderall that I wanted to take as my own in terms of what I got done. So, yeah, I just didn't want people to know that I was on Adderall. And I don't take it. I haven't taken it in 10 years, but I still think about it and how it commanded part of my personality too. So it was almost like a parasite that was defending itself. Adderall was like, maybe if people know you're doing this, they'll help you stop doing it. Or maybe, I don't know, or it'll force you to reckon with it if they ask you questions about how you use it and when you use it and why you use it. And I felt like it was just, and as a drug, it has a different kind of introspection. There's a lot of introspective drugs out there. And Adderall, I think, is introspective. It makes you more of an introvert. At the same time, it can make you gregarious and extroverted. But, it depends upon how you apply it, I guess. But there was a lot of times when I just wanted to be alone and be with my mind if I was experiencing my mind through notebooking or if I was experiencing my mind through editing videos or playing guitar. It didn't matter. I just wanted to get in a feedback loop with my own brain in whatever way I could. So a lot of times, I would opt out of social gatherings to just spend time with myself and do things like that. And it's just crazy that's part of some people. Some people just do that, and some people only do it on Adderall, or some people do it more on Adderall. I mean, I still do making art alone, but on Adderall it's like just a different thing, and it sometimes feels like a magical thing you have, and that you don't want people to know that you use magic. You want them to think that you're magical, but really you use magic. So I don't know, and I think a lot of people are in the closet of Adderall. Some people aren't. Some people really proud to do Adderall, and I'm not. That's fine. I wish I could have been proud of it. When I saw people who were blatant about their usage, I was like, damn, so confident. And me, I was just like, oh, you take Adderall? That's crazy. What's that like? So I definitely, not saying one way is better than the other. Taking Adderall can be dangerous, but of course, do whatever your doctor says that you agree with. And where was I? But it's okay. But for me, I was secretive, and I think other people are too. There have been people in the media like Simone Biles that actually leaked that she took Adderall, and then she sort of became a spokesperson for amphetamine-based stimulant drugs used for ADD. Like, I've seen ads for her, with her in them promoting, I don't know, Cerebral or one of those people who will sell you Adderall on Instagram. And I suppose, in the past 5 to 10 years, there's been this embracing of stigma about mental illness. In fact, some people I think are really allow their mental illness to represent themselves and things like that, which has become popular, and maybe that stigma has changed Adderall's use, but still often you find it's sort of being treated like steroids in the media, where when we find out someone takes Adderall, we second guess their true ability because we know that there's some kind of performance enhancement going on. And I think it's definitely comparable to steroid use for the mind, but I don't think it has a similar analogous mechanism that represents steroids for the brain, because it doesn't make you smarter, it doesn't make your brain bigger or grow new cells. It just kind of makes it just juices your brain up. It's lubricating, and it just gets things going. That being said, I didn't feel comfortable coming out of the closet as an Adderall user until I stopped using it. And then I obviously don't stop talking about it. But I know that when you're in that mode, it feels like the scariest thing to do. And it might be a good thing to do. And I resisted it. And I made it out of Adderall use by resisting it. But if you're trying to quit Adderall right now, my heart goes out to you, and I wish you strength on your journey back to yourself. And I hope that these videos, the ones I make and this one and the others, can help you consider what's going on with yourself and be strong. And I hope remind you that what's going on is a little weird with Adderall and stuff like that, and I hope that you get the help you might need from Adderall, but after you get the help, you can move on. I'm probably gonna cut this part of the video out. I'm rambling, but so if you're out there and you're secretly using Adderall, I hope that, I hope you get what you need from Adderall, and eventually only take drugs that you're happy about talking about with other people, because maybe the reason you avoid telling people about it is because you're avoiding confronting it yourself. I don't know. I'm just a guy. But, people had come up to me and asked me a couple times if I was on something while I was on Adderall, and I mean, my heart stopped. And I just don't know. And if someone could have, I don't know how someone could have approached me in a way where I was willing to listen. And I had lots of temples of logic that I made in my mind that defended and supported my use completely. And I probably would have had a lot of conversations about those defenses that I had told to myself if I had to defend the use toward a concerned friend or family. But I managed to just never talk about it until I stopped taking it, really. And I think that's addict behavior, is to want to keep their addiction and their use personal and to themselves, because when you do something you're addicted to, it's compulsive in some ways, and you don't always want to take credit for those actions and those choices, so you don't share them, but they're happening. So, but not everyone's addicted to Adderall, but that's how addiction kind of manifests sometimes, is you when you're addicted, you keep giving yourself reasons, and you don't want to mess up sort of the routine that supports your using. So, having someone know about it can throw things off. And that's how an addict thinks, because an addict is really focused on their usage. I mean, their life happens, but when you're addicted to something, if you don't use it, you're just off. And I don't think I was willing to admit that perhaps the reason I was hiding it in the beginning was because I was just embarrassed that I had ADD to my friends. I was embarrassed that I needed drugs that made me kind of put into the basket of mental illness. And then later on in life, it was like, yeah, whatever, everyone's got something, but I was more embarrassed that I still kind of took these drugs, and that I was embarrassed that I succumbed to addiction, because when I became an addict, it was a different thing. So I hope this helps, and please continue the dialogue in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys about this.